All right, guys, so it is chapter 3. We are going to be talking about online safety, how to ethically use computers, good things such as that. You guys should have finished up the 3D printing unit last week, and so we're going to be diving into this one. To start us off, I want you guys, for your warm up, in just a second, pause me, and I want you to describe what you think piracy is, right? When we think of piracy, we think of pirates and ships and peg legs and stuff like that. But I want you to think what piracy is when we're referring to computer science. So pause me, take a second, and complete the warm up, then come back. All right, so what is piracy? You guys should have described what you think it is, and we're going to define it here in a second. Before we get there, I want you to tell me, what do you think this is from? Congress shall have the power to promote the progress of science and useful arts by securing for limited times to authors and inventors the exclusive rights to their respective writings and discoveries. Any guesses? All right, that is from the U.S. Constitution. All right, so saying our government will protect, it has the power to protect what is ours, whether it's from science, from arts, things that we create. Okay, now piracy, the definition for piracy is the stealing of copyrighted work by downloading or copying it without permission and without paying for it. So if I had to guess, we've all committed piracy, right? Watching free online movies, burning a CD, even though I don't know if you guys necessarily do that, YouTube downloader to listen to music instead of actually paying for the song, stuff like that. Now, when we're trying to define piracy, you've got to think of a couple questions. Did the original content creator miss out of making money because you downloaded it illegally, you gave a copy away, you went and watched or found a free copy somewhere instead of paying for it? Um, and let's look at some potential consequences. So when it comes to movies, the biggest thing is when it comes to movies, if you distribute movies, you are punishable by up to 5 years in a federal prison and up to $250,000 fine. Okay, so we've all seen this at the beginning of movies. Generally, don't pay much attention to it. But when you look at what are the potential consequences? All right, up to 5 years in prison and a fine of $250,000. Now, hopefully, you guys will be able to take a second and watch this as an example of anti-piracy ad. All right. Now, plagiarism. What do you mean all my facts are wrong? I copied everything straight off the internet. With Chat GPT and all other kinds of things these days, a lot of times I do find students that want to copy and paste. Well, plagiarism is literally the copying of someone else's work and claiming it as your own. All right, plagiarism is copying someone else's work and claiming it as your own. All right, now when you use someone else's source, you can somewhat get away with it if you give them credit by acknowledging them, citing your sources. So when someone using someone else's creative work, what must you do? You must acknowledge or cite that source. Okay, acknowledge is giving them credit for what they've created, right? And there's certain ways you have to do that, right? Copyright law. This is a law. What does it do? It provides legal protection for authors of original work or content, right? Copyright law provides legal protection for authors of original content. Now, things like that can be copyrighted. I want you to think about things that can be like written out in some way. Books, plays, music, all right? Anything that's artistic. If you can draw it out, make that written out copy. That's a good way to know copyright. Is there a way to copy it written? Okay. Now, how long does copyright last? It's kind of changed over time, right? Due to people in Congress, people vying for it to last longer. Generally, works that are tied to original creator are given the life of the creator plus 70 years. So, how long does copyright last? Life of the creator plus 70 years. Now, if it is written under a pseudonym, meaning a fake name, so for example, Mark Twain, Samuel Clemens, right? Then it is 95 years from publication, right? Is how long that actually lasts. All right. We are down to defining fair use here. Now, what happens when copyright runs out? Well, for example, A. Milne is the original content creator of Pooh, right? And if you guys have paid any attention, right, Pooh, and this is the original, doesn't have the red shirt. And so that's part of it. There has been a rendition where Pooh, right, has a red shirt. That's what he's most noticeably known for. But if you have noticed, Pooh and different characters for Disney are running out of public domain, or they're running out of copyright, meaning they're falling into public domain, which is why last year we saw the creation of this creepy poo movie, right? For Blood and Honey or something like that. Okay. So that's kind of what happens. Check out these links to kind of see how some of that has come out. All right, fair use. What is fair use? This is the copying of copyrighted material for a limited and transformative purpose, for such as to make a critique of it, to make a parody. You're using it to build upon it, add your own diss to it, but you're not. There's a couple guidelines to follow. So the four guidelines you want to consider: what purpose and character did you use this? So why are you doing it? The nature, what did you copy? How much of it did you copy? And the effect on the market. Did you cost them money? So the purpose, why you did it, what you copied, how much you copied, and the effect. Did you cost them money? That's what it comes down to. So if you guys have ever watched any of this, is for example, you're going to see that if you can play these, I'm not sure if they'll be able to play these in class through the slides, but it's um, all right, so you guys get the point. These are quite interesting. The other one's not going to allow you to watch it apparently unless it's on YouTube. But the people that are originally going to watch Star Wars aren't going to go and watch this for the same reason. They might, either way it might be entertainment, but they're not going to go out and like buy a way to watch this where they may have paid for a movie ticket to go see Star Wars originally. Okay. Now, if you use a source for any reason, you need to give credit. You can use Citation Machine, you can use EasyBib, different things like that. Now, how do you tell if a website's credible? You look for the author, when it was created, check for bias to see if there's a reason that their information might be skewed. Domain name, right? Generally.edu, .gov, and then obviously check for proper grammar, right? If they can't take the time to make their grammar correct, their information might not be well sourced either. Now, find a website that has the following. You guys are going to take your time. You're going to find a credible website, okay, on any school appropriate topic, and I want you to answer those questions, right? When was the article published? Who's the author, URL, and why you believe it is a credible site. Now, after you do that, your final thing, you are going to get a blank piece of paper, and you are going to create a anti-plagiarism poster. All right, the poster should cover at least 3/4 of a page, so you'll just take a blank white piece of paper. I want you to include one statement that discourages plagiarism. It should obviously portray that you know what plagiarism is, and it should be turned in by the end of class. All right, that is your assignment for today.